Hey guys, how are you? My name is Camila, and welcome to this point fighting podcast. I actually don't know what the name should be yet. I didn't decide on anything, but I guess with time I will figure something out. The only thing I know is that it's about point fighting, it's about the mentality, the tactics, the techniques, and how can you actually be an athlete? Like, what does it mean to be an athlete? What does it take from you to be an athlete? In this first episode, I wanted to tell you something about myself so you know who is this person who is hosting this podcast. I'm from Denmark. I'm 25 years old. I live in Budapest and I train with the Kirai team, uh, Kirali team. Some of you might know it like that. I'm pretty sure you also know it as the Kirai team. I'm sure you know who I mean. I started kickboxing 5 years ago. And it was actually kind of a coincidence because my now fiance got a job in Germany. His name is Jens. I will probably mention him sometimes. So now you know his name is Jens. He got a job in Germany as a kickboxing teacher because in Germany you can live from that. I don't know about where you live, but in Denmark, it's not a thing that you live from. It's something you volunteer to do. So he got the job there, and I didn't know if I wanted to move with him. So I thought, okay, if I start doing kickboxing, at least I have one thing that I know I can do there and that hopefully can make me some friends. So I decided to move and I started the kickboxing. Um, I fell in love with the sport, absolutely. And not so much the first 2 years. I was just training, having fun, going to some tournaments. It was very interesting. And at one point, we decided to move to Hungary to train. At first, it was supposed to be only 3 months, but then we got a job here and we decided that we would stay for longer. Actually, it's kind of a funny story because Jens kind of quit his job out of nowhere. Like, I don't want to go into details, but it was a very, not, I wouldn't say spontaneous, but it was definitely something that happened from one day to another. And we had to figure out what we would do from there. So we just sat down in our living room with a whiteboard and we started writing down everything we could do. We were thinking about traveling around in Europe and visiting dojos, um, training in another club in Germany, and moving back to Denmark, or going to the Kirai team, or maybe a team in Italy. There was a lot of options for us. And we thought that training with the Kirai team would be the number one dream. But who trains with the Kirai team? Like, can you just do that? But we decided to take the chance and ride them. Luckily, Jens had been on the Kirai summer camp before, so he knew the guys. And of course, the guys are so nice. He texted Roland, and within, I think, maybe 20 minutes, Roland answered and said that he's not the coach, so we should talk with Christian. And we sent a message to Christian, and I think maybe 2 hours later, we got the response that, yes, of course, we can come train with them. And we were like, wow, okay, now we're going to train with the Kirai team. As I said, it was supposed to only be 3 months. So we had a cat in Germany, and we told Jens' sister if she can take care of it while we are in Hungary for 3 months. She said yes, and then we found a job there. I think 2 weeks or 1 month before leaving. And it's now been 3 years, and Jens's sister still have the cat. So not too good, but yeah, that's how it is. We stayed here and it's amazing. And from the beginning, we started training 4 hours, 4 times a week. And it was definitely a huge difference for me because I was used to only training 1 to 2 times in Germany. And if you see me, you will know that I'm not really like the stereotype athletic person. I'm a little bit heavier, a little bit more choppy. I was never like I could never even do a push-up. And I was I used to play on the volleyball team, but after, like, when I went to high school, I liked the party more, and so I just did that. So coming here, start training 4 times a week, And also in a fairly new sport to me, I was only training 2 years, and it was with a team where we were mostly just enjoying and having fun. So yeah, it was definitely at sometimes frustrating because I was so new and I didn't know. First of all, I didn't understand the game. I mean, I knew the rules, but the game is about a lot more than the rules. There are all the tactics, and you need to know the techniques, and you need to handle very specific situations. For example, when I came here, I would have just, I shit you not, 10-year-old people kicking me like I was, I don't know, like I was nothing. These small kids are just putting the leg in the air and kicking 5 times until they hit me. Like that was so frustrating. But of course, with time, I got better. And at one point, I wouldn't say at one point because I kind of always knew, but or something deep inside of me knew, but and I knew that I wanted to take it more serious, and I was rubbing my mind like, how do I do this? How do I take the next step? What is the next step even? Like, how do you get better at something? And so I I found a podcast. It's called Athlete Maestro, and it kind of told me all the basics of how are you an athlete? What are the expectations to you when you are an athlete? And I started to implement them, and I started living like I'm an athlete, and I started to tell myself I'm an athlete because that's the only way that I could believe it myself, or how to say, like, keep my mindset in the athlete mindset. I started studying the sport. I started getting help with my mentality because sometimes my mentality would just throw me off. Like in the like before a fight, I could tell myself, no, I'm not good enough to do this. I will never win. And then of course you will never win. Or I could not focus, or even though I was physically on the mat, I felt like I was not there. If you ask me after what happened in the fight, I was not able to answer because I kind of was not in the fight, even though I was in the fight. And a lot of these things, I really need to change my mindset. And as I said before, we train 4 times a week. After 1.5 year with this new, like, being an athlete, I have like 8 to 10 sessions each week. And when I come home, I watch the videos, I do the analytics, I study my sport, do my stretches, eat my food right. Like, not I'm not perfect. I wouldn't say that at all, but I'm definitely, I finally know the path to my goal because, as you know, there are thousands of ways to get to Rome. Let's say Rome, right? But Rome, the city in Italy. Um, but that doesn't mean that you choose the fastest. And that's so, like, if you have a goal in kickboxing, let's say you want to be the world champion. Okay, cool. You can be a world champion in many ways. Like, the way to get there will be a lot. But some of them will take you 5 years and some of them will only take you 2. Why not choose the one that's only taking 2 years? So I became very aware of this, and I really decided to dedicate my time. And now I just want to share it with you because when I started 3 years ago, I needed this. Because if you Google point fighting, you will find maybe 2, 3 videos on YouTube with Saul Moradi and Laszlo Bumbosh, who's doing some kind of blitz exercises, and that's fine, but it's not a lot. We need to help each other and we need to educate each other because not everyone is fortunate enough to live in the exact city as a really, really brilliant coach who can help you with this. So I've decided to start this community where we can help each other with this. And I will share with you everything I know, everything I've learned. And luckily I will continue learning, especially with this. And I will share it with you. And you will share it. You will share what you know with me, hopefully. And you can always text me on Instagram. Always hit me up on Instagram. My name is Camilla_kickboxing. And yeah, hopefully this will be really, really great. And I'm really looking forward to doing more of this episode and just learning even more about point fighting because there's so much more to know and I cannot wait. So let's do it. By the way, my name is Camilla, but you can just call me Cami because everyone calls me Cami and I kind of like that name. As I said, My Instagram handle it's Camila_kickboxing. So find me there. Make sure to send me a DM if you have any questions, any suggestions, anything you want to talk about. I know there's a lot of you like me out there who are fairly new or kind of stuck, and you want to progress forward, but you're not really sure how. Because I've already talked with some of you out there, and it's amazing because you are from all over the world, and I love to talk with you. So just please send me a message on Instagram, and I will get back to you. See you in the next episode, and it will be so interesting because it will be about tactics, and it's something that my mental coach told me, and my mind was blown when he told me this, and I cannot wait to share it with you. So listen to the next episode.